Hi, I'm Rob Cram, and today we're taking a look at Ghost Recon Breakpoint and the new features that have been
Any big
added. Now, the
differences that
game
broadcast
released
went out?
Some
quite some
outcasts
time
have
ago
loaded me up with gear.
with
I think they're
some
looking for
mixed
an
reactions
alliance.
from players and fans of the previous game and Ghost Recon series in general.
Never mind.
I think Ubisoft has taken some of the stuff on board, but it's been a long time coming, and only just today they've added the AI teammates. So the question I'm going to be asking and then looking at right now is Ghost Recon Breakpoint worth playing in its current form? Well, to begin, there's a few updates since launch that have made the game a bit better in terms of playing and user enjoyment and quality of life improvements. But again, if you're looking for an expansion on the Ghost
Farmer to
Recon
freedom fighter. What do you think of that?
series Wildlands, and you'll see that Breakpoint now sort of mimics that game a lot more closely than it did, say, 10 months ago when it released. So first things first, this is obviously my character. I've got several characters in this game. This is one of my characters where I started the game again once they released some new updates. So let's go into the menu first and just check out the new feature that was added previously, which allows you now to change the parameters of the game. So this option here allows you to have a regular or immersive experience. The regular is basically the core game with all the HUD on and everything else, but the immersive is where you can now sort of set your game to how you want to play it. There's quite an extensive amount of options here that really do change the game. So for example, the gear level, this was a complaint leveled at the game initially, where it's turned into a loot shooter. You can turn all of that whole feature off entirely. So now it means that your weapons that you start off with, you can keep those. They're just as powerful as any other weapon that you'll find later on in the game. But obviously you can then upgrade your weapons in terms of adding scopes, silencers, etc. to your specification, which is cool. So it's good to have that option on off. That does actually make quite a big difference, because then you're no longer searching for weapons that are a level higher than you, and that whole sort of gameplay loop is gone. Difficulty is pretty self-explanatory, and then obviously the tactical. Now let's go into the custom setting, which is where I've got it set. Now you've got all these other options, which really does change the game. You can set your slots of weapons, the amount of bandages that you can have to heal. Now this is a favorite of mine, the risk of injury. So adding a bit more realism to the game, you can sort of have where your character is injured often or few, or even every time you get shot, which means you're going to have to heal yourself, and your ability to function is reduced, which is a harking back to the early Ghost Recon games, where if your teammate was shot, then their abilities would be reduced. They would movement would be reduced, as would their aiming, which is quite cool. So yeah, this means that you really got to be careful of getting shot, because otherwise you're going to be having to heal, and whilst you're healing, you're vulnerable, and yeah, it's makes quite a difference. Stamina consumption, again, another feature where you can't just continually run as far as and as fast forever and ever. You have to really sort of bear in mind that you're human, and that you're not a superhuman being where you can just infinitely run and escape your pursuers. Health regeneration, now that's quite a big thing in video games. Turning that off is a nice feature to have that. Another great feature is the ammo loss on reload, where any remaining ammo in the clip, if you throw away the clip in a reload, you're going to lose whatever ammo is left in that clip. So give you an example, you fire 3 shots from a 30 round clip, you reload after 3 shots, you're going to lose 27 bullets. So it really makes you be mindful of how many bullets you're firing and how many are left in the clip in terms of your next round of firing on your enemies, which is pretty cool. So these really do sort of change the sort of core basics of the game, making it a lot more realistic and obviously a lot tougher. And then we got the HUD as well. Again, this was a complaint with Wildlands. Having all of the HUD on really does kind of spoil the game. It was highlighting enemy positions on the mini-map and all sorts of functions that would make it just way too easy. So turning them off completely, or pretty much completely, does change the gameplay and how you approach the game. You can't just go steaming in. Obviously then you can set custom and change all of this, as you can see here, which is quite a lot to change. So another main feature, and again this is part of other Ubisoft games, is the guided or not guided, where you're given certain clues as to where you're supposed to be going for certain missions, and then you work on those clues, and then you head to the location based on those clues to find your current objective. It's not just going to be highlighted for you as a point on the map. So this gives you a lot more immersive and interaction with the actual game world. I think I find it a much better way of playing having that switched on. Right, so that's some of the features they added in a previous update. So today's update now has you having your teammates. You can toggle those on and off at any time, and the cool thing about it is that you can customize your teammates. So here I've actually got my teammates as a all-female squad, including my main character, and I've color coded each teammate so I know who's what and wherever. So they're all sniper based and assault rifle, and as you can see here, this one's color coded orange or red. This one's blue, and this one's white. And basically you can change the character to either male or female, and then obviously you've got the choice of what clothing they can wear, and obviously you can unlock stuff to get more personalization. But as a basic level, yeah, 3 teammates who you can then control and customize their weapons and loadouts as well, which is cool from the offset. So let's just dive in. They'll always wait outside your main encampment here rather than hanging around. So you'll have to exit. So let's just do a bit of free-form exploring here rather than any mission-based stuff, and we'll see how they can behave in the battlefield. You have to excuse the performance here. Finding that it's dipping quite substantially. Obviously I think I've got the options a bit too high. Not sure why that's gone to the settings menu. Right, so teammates abound. Yes, it's kind of stuttering here quite a lot. I think probably better if I turn the options down from ultra to high. I think basically because I'm recording at the same time, it's causing that stuttering. So as you can see, the 3 teammates now will follow you, and they'll react how you're playing. So for example, if I take away my silencer, they will do the same. Put it back on, and they will do the same, as you can see there. So they all got their sniper rifles as their primary weapon, which is quite interesting. So let's just get in this chopper, and naturally they will follow you. So yeah, it's very much back on the same level as Wildlands, and the game really does feel like it is Wildlands 1.5. Obviously a different context in terms of the storyline here. So you've got the same limited sort of controls or commands for your squad in terms of asking them to hold position, regroup on your location, and other things such as the sync shot, which returneths. Again, that's a bit divisive whether you want to use that, but I think a really cool way of playing is being able to And again, this is in tune with how you've got it set up, where your character is pretty vulnerable to any sort of injury and gunfire, where you command the AI teammates to do your bidding, and you sit back as commander and not fire a single shot and see how you get on. So let's just land here. Right, so before we just get onto this, let me just try and lower the render resolution, and hopefully that will improve the performance somewhat. The resolution scale, and let's just dump that down to about 80 and see if that helps. Yeah, so it's kind of pushing somewhere. Right, so first things first, let's just look at the options that you have in terms of marking an enemy. So you can mark through the crosshair. Alternatively, you can go prone.
Ready, Ghost Lead.
And get your drone out and do that classic
Search for intel.
marking enemies this way. There's quite a big base here. So what I found is as well, in Wildlands, it was a bit unrealistic when you was using the mark and sync shot, that the AI, your teammate AI, would automatically find their targets regardless of whether they had a good line of sight or not, and it was a bit unrealistic and perhaps a bit cheap. But I think so far from what I've seen in this, they don't always do that now. They have to have a proper line of sight. So I think this guy is on his own. Let's take him out.
Hostiles eliminated.
Nicely done. And again, another issue that was with Wildlands was the bodies would disappear, and that would be problematic in terms of enemies would then come along and they wouldn't see the body, and it would be a bit cheap, and you'd feel like, well, yeah, that wasn't deserved. At least now the bodies stay there, and it means if someone comes along and spots that, it's going to raise the alarm, which is pretty cool. As you can see, it's still there. So let's try and find some other enemies to take out. Quite a nice little area here. So thin out the enemies. So in the actual trailer for the AI teammates, there's a moment where it says that you can actually
Targets down.
take out about 7 enemies in one shot if you use your ability or your drone ability that allows you to sync shot, which is quite cool. So you can see the position of our enemies, of our team, sorry, over here, taking up good tactical positions. So there's 3 enemies together here. Now let's see how they behave in this situation.
Roger, moving. Getting in position.
Right, it says they're getting in position.
Ready to shoot.
So there's a bit of, as you can see, they're moving over, but they do have the shot from where they are. Somewhat unrealistically. So let's just take the shot anyway.
That's it. Got him.
So those bodies are likely to be discovered now by... Whoops, drone ran out of power. Let's sort of get in a bit closer. I mean, we've taken out quite a few guards. So I'll just camo myself, let the drone recharge. I think it ran out of power, that was a problem. I don't see anyone here. That body's still there. Again, that's a good...
Moving to the target.
Right, they've obviously seen the bodies because they're now on high alert by the looks of
Prepare
it.
to fire. Target locked. Got it locked, boss. Boom. Got it.
Now you get an idea of how the enemy will react to those guys being shot.
I'm ready to fire.
Again, you can see the cooldown for the sync shot.
Come on, let's kill these bastards. Come on, I need a visual.
Moving to position. Ready, boss.
Come on, let's kill these I'm ready to fire.
Got the targets.
I think I have to take back what I said earlier about them being in position and shooting through walls. I guess that still is here.
Kill these bastards. I'm ready to fire.
But you know, you can play a stealthy way. You can sneak around, or you can manually or by melee attacking your enemies and hiding the bodies and doing it that way. So you've got a bit more scope for that in this game than you had in Wildlands. Right, let's I think we've cleared most. Sneaky guy hiding there.
Maneuvering
You
to
just
the
mark
target.
him there. I don't see any snipers.
Got that sniper.
Stay. Come on. Stay behind these bastards.
Yeah, we're good now.
Come. Stay here.
Right, let's get in here and do a bit more. See, look, a teammate Red over there, just,
Breacher
well,
locked.
close call. So the AI won't attack until
We need to find
I give them the go-ahead to do so.
them before they destroy us. Engaging hostiles. Maneuvering on that asshole.
Well, that was close.
We're losing. They're beating us. Kill Terminate the hostiles, goddammit.
Maneuvering now, boss. Open up!
I think some massive gun is shooting me from behind. Yep. So you can actually disable those and hack them. Let's see if I can find another way around and try and disable that.
Lit one of them up!
Oh, he's on me.
Get your ass
Should be able to grenade it from here.
Man down. We're baiting, Ghost Lead. You
It's
need
proper
to
on
find
my
some
case
cover.
here. I need to heal myself. I need to get into a better position so that gun isn't on me.
That's better.
No, it's proper on my case. As you can see, I'm pretty injured here. Nicely done. So they distracted the turret, which enabled me to get my grenade ready. And someone with information here. Now I don't have any health kits to heal myself. unfortunately. So as you can see now, look, the movement is hampered. I've got a minor injury, so it's not really affecting me fully.
Smoke 'em, boys, smoke 'em.
Moving to the target. Set to take out the target.
Oh dear. And you can see that was pretty tough for me, surviving that with all that injury. I had a slither of health left, and for some reason they didn't want to sync shot. So I think, being honest about this, there's work to be done with the AI. It's not perfect. It's not intuitive in how it responds to the situation at hand, but it is at least an improvement than going lone wolf all the time. And especially it's a nice feature to have for those who don't want to play with other players online. But it's a bit wonky. Well, that was kind of storming the base. You got a good idea of that. Excuse me. Another option is you can set your own ambushes. So you can command your squad to go to certain positions.
Find a good spot over there.
We're on the way.
So I mean, because they're all snipers, I could put them in an elevated position and get them to attack.
Got one. Over there.
Let's see if I can try and attempt to do that. So let's put them up on there. If they will go up on that raised
I
area.
see one there. We can't
Yeah, I
get
think I have to get up there myself
target area
first.
clear.
Right, so if I put them here. So about here, so they've got a good overview.
Sorry, Nomad. We can't go there.
Well, obviously that's not working. Great. So again, this is why would that not work? Why can't they be positioned in this
Look like we can go there.
on this rock here? Again, like I said, there's some things that need to be worked out in this.
It's no good.
Seems a
We
bit
can't get
stupid
there.
that you couldn't do that. I mean, I have a team of snipers. An elevated position seems like a natural choice. But I think I've given you basics anyway of the AI game parameters that you can change.
Sharp, we're not alone.
Whoops, not good.
They're gonna be coming. Stay low.
Get some.
Copy. Opening up.
Right, now they're just shooting on their own accord.
Popped one.
I'm taking some cover.
Hostile down.
Contact! Contact! Hostile troops!
Enemies hit.
Copy. Put them in the ground.
Target hit. I hit one.
That's it, so they've cleared them all out. There's another vehicle. So they're automatically firing on anybody that comes within the close proximity of my character, which is pretty cool. And obviously you can tell them to stand down. So these are kind of the basic functions that were in the previous game. Like there's people on motorbikes over there. This is a good example of
Rally
getting
on
to
me.
regroup.
Okay, on our way.
I need you to set in a new position. Over there.
We got you. Moving now. We're
Still
set here.
Oh crap! I didn't even see those trucks there.
They're on us.
I'm in trouble.
Got one.
Nice shot. Interesting, those people by the bikes didn't react. I think these are friendlies anyway. They look like it.
Did you hear? Ballard has a cure.
At this point, I won't believe anything until I see it with my own eyes.
Fine, but allow yourself a little relief. Soon it'll be time to think about the future, and we're gonna need you.
The future? We all need to decide. Sentinel attacked us with a plague, like sneaks, cowards. My brother is dead, children are dead.
Better.
If we live, we fight. We
And get them to
open that
regroup.
bridge.
You get the point.
Move to
Now
my
we start
location.
convincing the others.
We're moving there now.
Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. This is Ghost Recon Breakpoint. So going back to my earlier comment at the beginning of the video, is this worth playing now, given the updates? Well, I think if you liked the original game, it's quite a far cry from that experience. I think if you like Wildlands and that style, then it's a lot closer to that now than it was.
Can't take the chance that somebody sees.
I think some things are still a bit buggy, but I think with a bit of tweaking of the options, you can have a reasonably cool stealth fun game to play here, which is a nice and an improvement over its original iteration last year. So yeah, it is worth playing now.
Leave me alone.
Not so sure on
Please, just
things like the story and the rest of it, but there are some bits that are a bit wonky, as you saw earlier, with positioning the team. But aside from that, I think it acts like a good expansion to Wildlands, basically. But obviously it's been sold as a new game, so take that as you will. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. I'm Rob Cram. Thanks for watching. This is Ghost Recon Breakpoint. But I'm just going to show you one more thing before we go, and that is trying to sneak up on these enemies here and go for the melee takedown.
Believe all those rumors, man? About choppers getting shot down?
Get to my position.
Legit attempt to infill troops. Who would try that?
Oh, that drone is still there.
Reacher on the objective.
Sooner or later, those ghosts will learn they don't have a chance in the world.
Nah, I got nothing. No
Copy, boss.
movement, no
Moving.
contact, no nothing.
Moving to engage, Ghost Lead.
I can't imagine being as
Moving
rich
to
as
position.
Scout. It's unbelievable.
Prepared to fire.
So she's ready to
Boys, the
fire,
poor folks ran into some snags.
but she won't fire unless I fire on the other target.
Shit went down. I've never seen dudes as obsessed with their work as those wolves.
Sure, a ghost might be a little scary, but a wolf will eat your heart.
Hey, I heard Scout's Villa is as big as a small city.
Skell's gotta be some kind of idiot if he wants to go back to that place. It's a death house now.
Whatever that was, I'm gonna go after it.
Fine, let's go.
We got nothing. Spread out.
Hey, something's up. Keep looking. Oh boy, what am I doing? There's nothing here.
Then I can get him to be engaged.
Shit! Open fire!
Now we get attacked. Okay, we'll leave it at that. I'm Rob Cram. Thanks for watching.